Parshat Miketz begins with the dream of Pharaoh. In his dream, he sees 7 healthy cows by the river Nile, and then there's 7 sickly cows that come out, and they consume the 7 healthy cows. And then he dreams again, and there are 7 beautiful stalks of wheat. And then there are 7 stalks of wheat that are blasted by the east wind, that are measly, and they consume the 7 healthy stalks. And he wakes up, and he's bothered by his dream. He doesn't know what it means. He consults with his soothsayers, with his wise men, and according to our sages, they say to him, well, you're going to have 7 daughters, and they're all going to die. They're going to be 7 generals, and they're going to plot a coup against you. But none of them gave him an interpretation that he agreed with. And then the butler said, I was in jail, and there I met a Hebrew man, and I had a dream, and he interpreted my dream, and my dream came true. And this is a reference to Yosef. So Pharaoh called for Yosef, and he was taken out of prison, and Pharaoh told him his dream. And Joseph said to him, it's all one dream, even though you had 2 dreams. It's all one dream. It's all one interpretation. There are going to be 7 years of plenty for the land of Egypt, followed by 7 years of famine. And you should prepare during the 7 years of plenty for the 7 years of famine. And Pharaoh was so impressed, and he immediately appoints Joseph as his second in command. Well, why is it that Pharaoh accepted the interpretation of Joseph and not the interpretation of his own Egyptian wise men? And I once heard a beautiful explanation. When a king dreams, he doesn't dream for himself. He's not a private individual. He's not a private citizen. He's the king. He dreams for his nation. So when his interpreter said, well, he's going to have 7 daughters, or he's going to have 7 generals who will make a coup against him, that has to do with him as a person. Why should he as the king have a dream that's about himself? He is the king. He should dream about the nation. And therefore, when Joseph told him that the interpretation of the dream affects the whole of Egypt, he knew that that had to be true. And this tells us something about leadership. Leadership is about being there for the nation, dreaming for the nation, leading for the nation, but not for one's own self-interest. And how far we have fallen today, that we see so many leaders and politicians that are in the job, not really for the people that they're leading, but in what can I get out of it? How can I promote myself? There's a very famous story in the Talmud where there's 2 very poor rabbinic scholars, and one of the leaders of Israel says, you know what, I'm going to appoint you to rabbinical positions. And they turn him down. And when he says to them, why did you turn me down? They answer, we don't want srara. Srara means we don't want to rule over people. We don't want to lord it over people or have authority. And he answers back and he says to them, do you think I'm giving you srara? Do you think that I'm giving you power and authority over people? I'm giving you avdut, servitude. When you become a rabbi, when you become a leader, you are a servant to the people. That's always been the attitude in Judaism. That when you're a leader, you're there for the people, not for your own self-interest. And if you're there for your own self-interest, you have to leave. You have to be osek b'tzorchei tzibur be'emunah. You have to engage yourself in the needs of the community be'emunah with faith and l'shem shemaim, for the sake of heaven. So when a king dreams, he dreams not for himself, but for his nation. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.